Good afternoon, everybody. I am Vibhu Swain. Today we start our first webinar on the online training program for B Certified Energy Auditor and Certified Energy Examinations. I'll go through the PPT. I'll try to explain you the things so that you can easily capture it, and hopefully we'll be able to upload it in YouTube so that in your leisure time you can go through it. So today we'll start with book 1, the chapter number 1. Now, if you see, chapter number 1 is basically the energy system, is the general systems of energy and all. And that is the book 1. Book 1 name is General Aspects of Energy Management and Energy Audit. In this book, we'll study only about the general aspect of the energy and what is energy audit. And in the chapter 1, the first chapter is energy scenario. Now, let us go through these slides. What is energy? Energy is basically an input for economic development. We require energy for our country to develop. Economically, we should be sound enough. So, in any developing countries, energy sector is very critical. Unless you don't have much energy security, you will not be able to develop yourselves. Now, since everybody wants to get developed, they want energy, and so there is a demand in energy. And once there is a demand in energy, you require a lot of investment for that. That means, so for developing the country, you require energy and you require a lot of huge investments. If you see, the terms is very important. Global energy need increases by 2.4%. Remember the word 2.4% each year. And the primary energy, out of total primary energy, 85% comes from fossil fuel. Fossil fuel, what is that? That we learn right now. Now, the energy terms, normally, energy, the unit of energy is kilocalorie, kWh, joule. Another one is ton of oil equivalent, TOE, ton of oil equivalent. That means, suppose I will burn 1 ton of oil, how much of energy I will get it from that 1 ton of oil. As you know, one oil GCV is around 10,000 kilocalorie per liter or per kg. So 1 ton of oil equivalent means 1,000 into 10,000, it becomes 10 to the power 7 kilocalorie. So 1 to equal to 10 to the power 7 kilocalorie. Now, how to convert kilocalorie to kWh? Now, remember, 1 kWh is 860 kilocalorie. That means if I divide it by 860, then I'll get 1 kWh is 860 kilocalorie. So through that formula, I got 1 TOE equal to 11630 kWh. Now, what is the relationship of kWh and megajoule? Now, 1 watt second, 1 joule is watt second. So 1 kilowatt means kilojoule. So if you multiply kilowatt hour, that means kilowatt into 3600. That means 1 kilowatt hour is equal to, it becomes 3600 kilojoule. So if you remember this basic formula, 1 kilo is equal to 10 to the power 7 kilocalorie, 1 calorie is equal to, 1 kWh is equal to 860 kilocalorie, and 1 kWh is 3600 kilojoule. You will be able to remember all these numbers. This number is very important as far as examination is concerned. So 1 TO equal to 10 to the power 7 kilocalorie, that is equivalent to 11630 kWh, that is equivalent to 41868 megajoule. Now, what is the energy classification? Normally, energy can be classified in 3 categories broadly. One is primary energy and secondary energy, commercial and non-commercial energy, renewable and non-renewable. What is primary energy? Which is available in nature or stored in nature. Coal, natural gas, biomass, they are easily available in nature. They are stored in the nature. That's why they are known as primary energy. And nuclear energy from radioactive is also primary energy. Thermal energy stored inside Earth's interior is also primary energy. And potential energy due to Earth gravity is also a primary energy. Now, what is secondary energy then? Now, if you convert primary energy, you will get something that is known as secondary energy. What is the example of secondary energy? One example is electricity. You burn coal, get steam. Steam is also one form of secondary energy. And from steam, you get electricity. So, steam, electricity, they are also known as secondary energy. Now, some energy sources does not have energy use. Now, that means though they are primary source of energy, but it is not utilized for meeting energy, or it has no energy use. It is sometimes used in as a raw material. For example, in fertilizer sector, if you see coal or natural gas is treated as a raw material, or it is treated as a feedstocks. It does not utilize as a energy, but it is utilized as a feedstock in fertilizer plant. That means from here we could know what is primary energy and what is secondary energy. You can get in your examinations some notes on primary energy as well as secondary energy. You have to remember the difference, so that you can write with some examples and write with their definition. Now comes what is commercial energy and non-commercial energy. That means any energy which you can easily calculate its values, means what you usually price, then which is available in a market in a price terms is known as commercial energy. For example, you get electricity at a price, you get gas for your kitchen at a price, you get coal for the thermal power plant at a price, or natural gas or HSD for your petrol for your vehicle, that is at a price. So these are known as commercial energy. That means these are available at a price. But what is non-commercial energy? Which is available in the nature, which has no price component in it. Like firewood, if you buy it, it's fine, it is a commercial energy. But if you just procure from the jungle or from the forest, then automatically it has no commercial values. Agro waste in rural areas, the stock, this agro waste, forest waste, these are also known as non-commercial energy. Solar energy for water heating. Suppose you in your solar thermal, you get solar energy, that is a non-commercial energy because you don't have to pay any price for that. Then solar from electricity for generation from through SPV cell is also a non-commercial energy. Then you in village area, if you see, a lot of people used to use solar energy to dry fish, to dry fruits, to dry agriculture produces. That is also one type of non-commercial energy. Animal power, bullock cart, water for irrigations, wind energy for lifting water, and for wind energy for producing electricity are all non-commercial energy. So, and what is renewable and non-renewable? Renewable and non-renewable means basically renewable energy is obtained from the source that are essentially inexhaustible. That means these sources are abundant in nature. It is always available. But what is non-renewable? It is the stocks are getting exhausted. It is depleting from day by day. It is being finished from the country, from the world day by day. What are the examples of renewable energy? You all know it. Wind power, solar power, geothermal, hydro, hydroelectric, tidal power. These are all are renewable energy. But what is then non-renewable energy? Fossil fuel, coal, HSD, nuclear, natural gas, LNG, propane. These are all stocks are getting exhausted, getting finished. So these are all are non-renewable energy. So with this, we could know energy classification. One is primary energy, secondary energy. Then another type of classification is commercial energy and non-commercial energy. Another type of classification is renewable and non-renewable energy. I hope it is very clear, but you have to read it and remember it. Better way to remember it through a picture. This is an ant, this is another ant. And here, these are all non-renewable. Natural gas, oil, nuclear, coal, and this is renewable. Biomass, solar, water, wind, geothermal. Now, we want to become this ant. We don't want this ant. We are gradually going from this source of energy to this source of energy, because carbon dioxide, greenhouse gas emissions, the environmental pollutions are associated with non-renewable type of energy. But this is energy conservation, renewable energy, and less pollution, environment friendly. So these are renewable energy. So the difference between renewable and non-renewable are basically they help the environment, but whereas renewable, non-renewable does not help the. Now let us find out in this slide what is the quantum of energy available, whether it is primary energy sources, what is secondary energy sources, or basically primary energy sources. Now, what is one first primary energy source? Coal. Now, in the books you can find it, in the PPT also we have shared some numbers. These numbers actually needs to be remembered. Otherwise, you have to remember in a broader terms so that it will help you to write multiple choice question answers. Also, some numbers are important to know whether how far they're available. Now, if you see coal, the coal reserve is in the soil, inside the soil, the coal reserve is found to be 892 billion tons. 892 billion tons. And by end of 2013, that means a study has been conducted by, if you can see here, BP Statistical Review of World Energy June 2014. They said that 892 billion tons of coal is available, and out of which USA has the largest share, around 26.6%, followed by Russia 17.6%, China 12.8%, Australia 8.6%, India is fifth in the list with 6.8%. So what is India's coal reserve? Is 60,600 million tons. So total share of the total country 6.8% India is having. Now what is reserve RP ratio, that I'll come later on. But what is US million ton reserve is 2,37,295 tons and 26.6%. Sometimes you have to remember the top one, and of course India's. So India is the fifth in the list with 6.8%, but US is having around 26.6%. Reserve and production, that means the way, that means how much of US is utilizing the coal. Suppose it is utilizing 10 tons per year, for example, but it has a reserve of 100 ton. That means the RP ratio will be 100 tons divided by 10 ton. That means 10 years. So RP, that means if he continues to utilize the coal in the same way, then that much of reserve will last for another 10 years. So RP is very important. That gives a choice to energy engineer how far your energy is secured. If RP is more, that means your energy security is high. If RP is less, that means you are energy insecure. Now, if you see India hold the RP ratio is only 100 years, but US is 266, Russia 452. That's why they are powerful, because their energy security is very high. But China, no, they are not energy insecure country. That's why they are going towards renewable. They are going for e-mobility. Now, coming to the coal producer, who produces how many coals? China produces very highest amount of coal production. They have produced in 3680 million tons, and the share of production is 47.4%, whereas India is 605 million ton, and the share of production of the total world together is 5.9%. The world production is 7896 million tons. From here, we should remember this coal reserve, RP ratio, and who is the largest coal producer, and what is the position of India in both the cases. Now, similarly, let us come to the oil numbers. Now, if you see, the global proven oil reserve is around 1687.9 billion barrels. And this is also a BP statistical review of world energy. Study has been conducted. And Venezuela had the largest share of reserve with almost 17.7%. That means 238 billion tons of oil reserve is there. That means 1687 barrels. And out of which Venezuela is having 17.7, and the reserve RP ratio, reserve per production ratio, is more than 100. For Saudi Arabia is 63.2. But what about India? India is only 17.5. That means if we will be utilizing the oil in the same way that we are utilizing, then all our oil will be finished. The domestic oil will be finished, and you have to import from the Middle East, from the Saudi Arabia, from Russia, and it will give you, you have to incur more amount of foreign reserve for that. You have to spend a lot of amount of foreign reserve for that. But if you see, who is the top oil producing country? Saudi Arabia, Russia, US, they are the top oil producing companies, and the total production per year is around 4130 million tons. Here you have to remember, 1 barrel of oil means what? 1 barrel of oil means 160 liters. And Venezuela has the 17.7% of oil reserve. Then the Saudi Arabia 15.8% of total oil reserve. Now come to gas. The global proven reserve is around 186 trillion cubic meters. And who has the highest gas? Iran has the largest share of reserve, that is 18.2%. After that, Russia. Qatar is 13.3%. India is only 0.7%. So who tops the list? 18.2% Iran. And the RP ratio is more than 100. What is the total world RP ratio? 55. That means after 55 years, there will be no gas. There will be no gas, there will be no oil, there will not be coal. So what we have choice? You have to go for, these are all our primary energy. So you have to go towards renewable energy. And here, what basically, that's why the Iran has the largest share. That's why lot of countries, China, India, they want to build up pipeline to get the gas from Iran for their energy. Now let us put together the word global. We studied about coal, we studied about oil, we studied about gas. Now let us put together what is the global primary energy scenario. Now, if you see the total global primary energy consumptions is around 12,730 million metric ton oil equivalent. Billion metric ton oil equivalent. That means, if you see what is oil, oil is 33% out of that. Natural gas is 24%. That means if you put together, oil is consumed at 33%, the ratio, coal is consumed 30%, nuclear energy 4%, hydro 7%, renewable only 2%. The total energy consumption, that means the total global energy consumption is equivalent around 12730 million ton of oil equivalent, and this figure shows that what are their ratios. Now, as I told earlier, 1 ton of oil equivalent is 10 to the 7 kilocalorie, and that is equivalent to 11630 kWh or 41868 billion joule. Now, from here, you just find out what is the energy scenario of India. The primary energy consumption for the developed and developing countries are shown in this table. And India's absolute primary energy consumption is only 4.7%, which we have studied earlier. 4.7% India only consumes from the primary energy sources, and whereas USA consumes 26%, China consumes 21%. And as I told earlier, who consumes more energy, he is more economically developed, he is more powerful, and but now situation is changing. It is not only primary energy source. You have to look for the renewable energy sources, so that, and you have to look for other energy sources. Now you have to remember this table. India is standing at 4.7%, China 22.4%, and then the world is 100%. There is one corrections. What I told, India is 4.7% of the total energy consumptions. From of the world total primary energy consumption, India consumes around 4.7%. But that percentage, don't get confused with 26% of USA. That means if you divide 595 with US energy, you will get 26% of USA. That means India consumption stands at 26% of USA primary energy consumptions and 21% of China's consumptions. That means 595 divided by 2852, it becomes 21%. So India vis-a-vis China is 21%, India vis-a-vis US is 26%. But if you see China's top the list as far as primary energy consumption is concerned, and they are standing at 22.4% with 2852 million tons of energy per annum energy consumption. That means here what exactly you have to remember, these numbers, these tables, and in this chapter we studied about what is energy, why energy is important. One, energy is important for the benefit of economic development, and the energy demand keeps on increasing. Then we studied about classification of energy, that is primary energy, secondary energy, commercial, non-commercial, then renewable, non-renewable. Then we studied about what are the types of energy being consumed, and how the countries, which country is producing more, which country is producing less, which country is consuming high, and which country is consuming low, and what is the total energy consumption of the world, and where India stands in that. Here also we found 2 units which needs to be remembered. The what is reserve per production ratio, that means RP ratio, and also the relation between kilocalorie, joule, watt hour. 1 barrel is equal to 160 liters, and 1 kWh is equal to 860 kilocalorie. With this, we conclude the chapter 1 first part, and I request that you have to go through it and read the books. There are certain additional information are there. Whatever way, you just remember it and write a note and try to remember these values, these definitions, which normally you will find some questions out of the first part. This I conclude. Thank you. Good day.